everyone! Today we're going to be making a bat craft. And while we learn how to make this bat craft, we're also going to learn about Rhode Island bat species, the adaptations that they have, and we're going to try to bust some bat myths, because there are a lot of rumors going around out there, and we really want to get the record straight. Bats are really important for a lot of different reasons. They can help pollinate plants. They can help reduce the number of insects so farmers have really healthy crops, and they can help disperse seeds so they can help plant new forests. So we want to make sure that our bat populations are nice and safe, and we're going to start by building this bat craft. For this bat craft, you'll need a toilet paper tube, a marker, some scissors, 2 pipe cleaners, a glue stick, a hole punch, and some construction paper. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make the bat's wings. So we'll need our construction paper and we'll need a marker. So I'm going to turn my paper so that it's facing upwards like this, and I'm going to put my left hand down on the paper with my fingers all closed. And now I'm just going to take my marker and I'm going to trace my hand very carefully. So this is going to be the bat's wings, and bats are actually in the order Chiroptera, which in Latin means hand wing, because their wings actually look very similar to our hands and have the same bones as our hands. Alright, so I've traced one hand, and now I'm going to turn the paper the other way around, and I'm going to trace my right hand now. So I'll put my right hand on the paper just like this, and I'm going to trace my right hand. So this is a little bit tricky because I'm using my left hand and I'm right-handed, but I'm going to try. So you might have a different sized wing depending on how big your hands are. And that's okay, because there are actually all different kinds of bats in the world. There are actually over 1,000 different species of bats in the world, and they come in all different sizes and all different shapes. Alright, so I've finished tracing my bat's wings. So I'm going to now take my scissors and I'm just going to cut out the outline of my wings. So all the different kinds of bats that exist throughout the world, they actually have different types of diets. So you might have heard before that bats want to suck your blood. Well, that's not really true. We do have vampire bats that do exist, but they live in places like South America, Central America, and Mexico. And so we don't really have any vampire bats in Rhode Island. Bats definitely do not turn into vampires, so we don't have to worry about that either. We have 8 different species of bats that live in Rhode Island, and all of our bats are insectivores, which means they only eat insects. Alright, I'm going to move my wings to the side for now, and I'm going to pick up my toilet paper tube and my hole punch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to punch 2 holes right in the bottom of my toilet paper tube, and this is going to be where my legs are going to go eventually. So 1, 2. Next, this part can be a little bit tricky. I'm going to take my pointer finger and I'm just going to push straight down on the top opposite of those holes that I punched. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Just like that, so that I have 2 little bat ears. Perfect. Now, bats' ears are actually very, very important because they help bats echolocate. So echolocation is the way that bats find their food. They emit a really high-pitched sound that's so high-pitched it's almost impossible for humans to hear, and then it bounces off of the insect and comes back to the bat, so the bat can find an insect even in the dark. Another myth is that people think that bats can't see well, but actually bats have pretty good vision and they can see just about as well as you and I. Alright, I have my bat wings right here, and I have my toilet paper tube with the ears all set, and I'm also going to grab my glue stick. So now we're going to glue the body of our bat right onto the wings. So I'm just going to spread some of my glue right into the middle, the center of my wings. And now I'm going to pop the body right onto the wings like that. So while we're letting this dry, I'm going to show you some video clips of bat banding. So at the DEM in Rhode Island, we mist net and band bats. And I'll show you what that looks like with these next video clips. Alright, now that our body is glued onto our wings, we get to decorate our body. So if you want to, you can actually draw some fur onto our bat because bats are mammals. A lot of people think that bats are just mice with wings, but like I said before, they're actually in their own order, Chiroptera. I'm gonna go ahead and draw some eyes on my bat. So you can make the eyes big or you can make the eyes small. Some of the bats, like the flying fox, have very big eyes so that they can see very well when they're looking for fruits. And other bats have very small eyes, like our Rhode Island bats have actually very small eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and decorate it. You can decorate yours however you would like. Got my eyes. I'm going to put a little nose on there. And I'm going to put a little smiley face. Just like that. Got a very happy bat. And if you want, you can put a few little teeth in there. Bats do have teeth. They're very, very small though. They can't even bite through a glove. If you ever do happen to find a bat and it's in your house, then you can always call the Rhode Island Department of Health, and they have a hotline that you can call and get more information if you're worried about a bat in your house. The last thing that we're going to do is we're going to make some legs for our bats. So I'm going to take my pipe cleaners like I have here. This is a little bit tricky, but I'm going to fold it right in half, just like that. And then I'm going to stick my pipe cleaner right through those tiny little holes that we made, and we're going to make some feet here. Just like this. There's one. And I'm going to make it bend backwards so we have a little hook. So bats actually hang upside down and they hibernate in the winter time. So that means that they spend their time kind of asleep during the winter time. We only have a handful of bats that actually overwinter or stay the winter here in Rhode Island. Other bats will fly north and they will hibernate in caves. And other bats will fly south and they'll actually stay awake all winter, or they might rest underneath piles of leaves or in trees. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with my second leg. I'm going to pop it right in there. Fold it right in half and bend it over, just like so. Alright, so there we have it, our little bat, and you can even hang upside down if you want. Our bat craft is all finished, but before you go, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the threats that bats face. One of the really big ones is called white nose syndrome, and it actually affects the nose and the wings of bats. So bats hibernate over the winter time. They spend the winter time in caves, and it's really damp and cold in there, and it makes it perfect for things like fungus to grow. The bats wake up when they're supposed to be asleep, and they start rubbing their noses and scratching their wings trying to get that fungus off. And that makes them really hungry, and so they'll leave the cave to try to go find food. But in the wintertime, there are no bugs out and it's very cold. And this has actually killed millions and millions of bats. So what can you do to help bats? Well, one of the most important things that you can do is tell everyone what you learned today. Remember all those myths about bats? Well, remember, they're not true. So tell people, bats aren't scary, but they're actually very important. Remember, they spread seeds, they help pollinate plants, and they help reduce the number of pests. So they provide us with a lot of important food. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed making your craft today, and have a great rest of the day.